Welcome to Moon. It's Britten, and I have another conversation for you with magicians from the 2025 Magicians Table here to share about their experience to support those who are circling for 2026 to come through the doorway. We had a funny, paradoxical kind of topic today, which is the tower can also be soft. And I'm going to share more inside the conversation of how I came up with this topic. Before I introduce this episode more fully, I want to share that the first person is in the door. We have our first 2026 magician just now. The doors opened yesterday on Sunday. We chose a very exalted moment for the doors to open. So the moon is now and was yesterday exalted in Taurus, and it was right at the eastern horizon when we opened the link and we shared the link to the applications. So we had the moon on the ascendant, which is very auspicious. And then that moon is ruled by Venus exalted in Pisces, and that put Venus in a 11th house position, which is the house of constellating community. And then that exalted Venus is ruled by an exalted Jupiter. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. And then that put Cancer at the third house, which is also like closed door groups, which the Magician's Table definitely is also a closed door group because it's got an application process and not everybody gets through the door. And so then that Jupiter is in turn ruled by the exalted moon. And so it just makes this kind of triangle between those exalted planets. So super, 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 super sweet moment. Yesterday, being a Sunday, I waited until today to start looking at them. I take my weekends very seriously as days of rest. So today I went through the applications that came in yesterday so that we could begin the process of sending out the invitations. And we have our first magician through the door who I have known now for many years. And it feels like she's done the magician's table, but she hasn't. So it's just really exciting to have this human that I know very well, who I adore, who I look up to, who is such a deeply grounded human being in herself. And I'm so excited that she wants to be part of this year. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for me. I'm excited for the Magician's Table and everyone who gets to be with her. And now the other 59 will begin to take their seats over the next week. So, very, very exciting. If you are listening to this and the application window is still open, encouraging you to go ahead and get your application in so that we can get your seat claimed for you. There's a real claiming magic that happens here. Like the claiming of this and the fact that you have to go through these different hoops. You have to put your name on the wait list. That in itself is a kind of vulnerable thing. You're being initiated into being curious about this. Then you have to go through another hoop. It's the initiation into naming your desires, and that's where you actually fill out the application and name that you want this. You want this. And you tell us about it. And you claim your tuition. And you claim your cohort. You don't have to pick your cohort, by the way. You can just tell us to put you anywhere. We'll do that magic for you. But some people do need a very specific time. And so, since seats will fill, I don't know which one will fill first. That's one of the reasons why it's good to just go ahead and get your application in because everything is considered in the order received. The application is a place where you name your desires. The only individuals who have ever not, quote unquote, gotten in are those who reveal in their application that they don't really understand what the magician's table is. It's this is rare, but every now and then someone comes through and there's a mismatch because this person is believes that they're looking for something and it's not what the magician's table is. And it's important that we identify that before they've gone ahead and put their money down and reserved a spot and it's not a good fit. So that's one of the main reasons we have the application. But the main reason is so that you can go through the initiation of naming your desires and being witnessed in it. What you write there, I encourage you to keep and look at again when the experience is done. And then finally, you have the initiation into investiture, where you can clothe yourself in new form by committing. You go through the pay portal. Going through the pay portal is an investment. This is an initiation into investiture. To invest means to clothe something in new form. That's what investments are. We don't lose the money. We're getting something from it. Sometimes when we invest, we are hoping for what we'll get is more money. And if you exchange your magic for money, you can sure as hell rely on that investment. Not everybody comes to the magician's table, though, for a professional experience. I think that no matter what you're coming for, you're primarily coming for a personal experience. But the personal for many is the professional. So if it's also professional, then that's amazing. All right. Let's talk about this episode. This is a really fun episode. One of the things that this episode does is it speaks to the disarming quality of the magician's table. This is important to hear, y'all, for those of you thinking about it. It's disarming. From the outside, it might feel threatening, right? Like to some people, it might feel like, whoa, it's kind of like, am I good enough? Will I fit in? Am I magical enough? It can have like a threatening quality. But what you hear again and again when you listen to these alum episodes is it is not a threatening place once you're in there. It's a disarming place. It's a place where you find deep mutual respect with your colleagues. And it is a soft place. The spikiest part of the magician's table, y'all, is before you apply. It's before you invest in it. I promise you that the spikiest part of the magician's table is the process of coming to your yes. Because once you're in, it's not spiky anymore. It's incredibly soft. It's incredibly soft and it's incredibly sturdy. It's soft and sturdy at the same time. It's because it's very Cancer Capricorn in many ways in how it feels experientially. Because there's so much care, there is so much nourishment, there is so much attunement. That's the lunar, the Cancerian. But it's also incredibly structured, like highly structured. And it's got structure on base, rooted in time, rooted in calendar, rooted in a lot of boundaries. It's incredibly structured. And that's the Capricornian, Saturnian aspect to it that allows it to feel like a place that you can trust is going to hold you. It's going to hold you. So it's sturdy. It's reliably sturdy. So you can trust in it. And you want that because you're experimenting. So you're going to want to fall back. And so what happens then, y'all, is once you trust in the Cancer, Capricornian, like lunar, Saturnian aspects of it, that you're like, okay, I think I really trust in this. Then it moves to Leo Aquarius. And then it's like solar Saturnian, where you are deep in creativity. You are in the workshop. You are in the laboratory. You are in a playroom. You're at a festival. And you are having this incredible community experience while you're also having an incredible experience of personal creativity. So it becomes very Leo Aquarius, and I think that that happens because of how deeply you sense the Cancer Capricorn piece on arrival. But it's hard to know that until you get in. This initiation towards the door is the spikiest time because it comes down to, can I trust in this leap? Can I trust that this leap will be good for me? Can I trust this leap will return on its investment, whatever I'm hoping that will be? Can I trust myself to stay true to it? Can I trust these other people who are currently strangers to me? Can I trust Britten and these 13th readers to be the stewards that I hope that they are? All of these pieces with the leap of trust are the hardest part, which is why I provide all of these episodes for you to just keep feeling assured that it is what you're hoping it is. And I can tell you that it's way more than you think it is. If you're resonating, which I assume you are, and that's why you're listening. So I see you. I'm celebrating you. Your colleagues are starting to come in. You're starting to come in. If this is calling to you, I can't wait to celebrate receiving your application. I can't wait to tell the 13th readers and Tegan, the staff holder, that you have applied. I'm the one who personally goes through the applications. It's just me. But then, once we know, like, okay, this person is coming and they're going to be in this cohort, then I open it up to the team to share all the good news. And once you've invested, I can tell the team about you. And we're just over here literally holding the candle. Like, all of us are burning our fires all week. We are burning fires, celebrating your arrival, dreaming of your arrival, helping you see the door, helping it appear to you. We're in deep, deep communion with our spirit guides, with our tarot decks and oracle decks, with our runes. We're sharing what we're seeing with one another because we're so excited to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for playing with us. Thank you for celebrating magic with us. Thank you for going on this great exploration with us. We cannot wait to surround you with the resources that will be provided to support you all along the way, welcoming you into the softest tower there ever is, the Magician's Table. All right, let me introduce our TMT alums of 2025. In this conversation, we have Danielle Houser. Danielle Houser, MS, LPCC, is a licensed therapist, educator, and speaker whose work lives at the intersection of psychology, spirituality, and decolonized healing. With over a decade of clinical experience and 20 years in teaching, she practices the magic of the breakthrough, the moment when soul level questions meet real world decisions and what is sensed internally begins to shape how people live. Whether in a workshop, individual therapy, or a one time breakthrough session, Danielle helps people untangle inherited patterns and internal noise so they can hear the voice that already holds the answers, the one that has been quietly calling them forward. And there's links in the show notes to connect with Danielle and book a breakthrough session. Then we have Janessa Quinn. Janessa Quinn is an artist, astrologer, and mom extraordinaire located in Minnesota. As a tender of flame and keeper of hearth, she is here to inspire and encourage others to liberate themselves by remembering their fire within. With the help of her eighth house Libra sun and fiery chart ruler, Jupiter and Aries, Janessa illuminates the treasure we can only find in the dark and boldly shares it with the world via her many offerings, including one on one consultations, workshops, writing, and her podcast, The Astro Garden. You can find more about Janessa's work at her website, byjoveastrology.com, at Instagram at byjoveastro. Her podcast is on all streaming platforms, and her writing is available at her website and her Substack. Links will be in the show notes. And then finally, Emily Pumm. Emily is an empowerment coach based in Rochester, New York, supporting people through meaningful life transitions with courage, clarity, and compassion. Her work is deeply informed by lived experience. After years of overworking herself to the bone during college, Emily found herself navigating debilitating full body chronic pain and fatigue. That journey ultimately reshaped her relationship with success, rest, and self trust. Now in remission, she is devoted to helping others reconnect with their inner wisdom and move forward in ways that feel sustainable, embodied, and aligned. Emily is trained through the Holistic Coach Training Institute and is currently working toward certification with the International Coaching Federation. She is also a co-leader of Rochester Conscious Community, helping steward a network of 450 plus people through wellness-centered events such as authentic relating and ecstatic dance. It is a versatile content creator, photographer, and filmmaker, collaborating with happyearthtea.com, bringing presence, creativity, and care into everything she builds. And you can connect with Emily through the show notes. Thank you all so much for coming on and chatting with me. I had such a great time. And listeners, enjoy. Welcome to Moon, Janessa Quinn, Danielle Houser, and Emily Pumm, alums from last year's The Magician's Table. The three of you were all in the same cohort with Tegan West. That's so cool. So, y'all have your own histories together. Um, I'm excited. None of these conversations have I had folks from the same cohort. So, that feels really fun for today's conversation. Why don't y'all just go around sharing your name, your pronouns, where you're calling in from, and share the kind of magic that is moving through you today, like any modalities that feel alive to help listeners to attune to you and what you're into.
So I'm Janessa. My pronouns are she, her, and I am calling in from Minnesota. Um, and the way magic moves through me is really mostly astrology. I would say definitely some like channeling. And yeah, I kind of I think I just see myself more as like an artist in general versus like one of those other boxes. So yeah.
I'm Danielle, she, her, and I'm also calling in from Minnesota. Yes, and Janessa and I were able to get coffee even, which is fantastic. That's not always the case in a cohort. I'm a licensed therapist, and I also teach workshops and speak on psychology, spirituality, and decolonization. So, where those three things meet the magic that is moving through me. And what I'll talk a little bit more about today is I practice the art of breakthrough magic. So, one off sessions with people in which they can really make sense of something that has felt so tense and full of strife. I've been able to, through the magician's table, really come into that.
Beautiful. And my name is Emily Pumm, pronouns she, her, and I'm based in Rochester, New York, Western New York, Great Lakes, Finger Lakes area. And I, through Magician's Table and a program I did right before Magician's Table, am getting into empowerment coaching. But I'm also very much a multi-hyphen creator, community leader. I help run a community called the Rochester Conscious Community in my area, which actually Tegan West, who was our 13th reader, runs with me. Um, and ecstatic dance is big medicine for me. Tarot's big medicine for me. Um, yeah, everything. Life is a big medicine for me. So,
Thank you. Thank you. So I'd love to hear the story about how you found both my work, but also the magician's table. Like, how did it start to come into your awareness? How did you begin to orient to it? Do you remember when you started to look at it and think, I think I might be doing that this year? Like, how did you come into your yes? And with that, I'm curious too, like, where were you in your life? Like, what was going on in your life that made that yes feel really important and impactful for you so that you can just share, like, help illuminate how one does come to that yes. And also, what were you hoping that it would be?
So for me, I found your work through your appearance on the astrology podcast, talking about unshaming the signs. And then I got to come to your workshop here in Minneapolis later that summer. And I took Moon to Moon. And then, but I think actually when you were on the astrology podcast, maybe was right around the time of the Magician's Table of that year.
Hmm.
And so I remember like hearing the promo for it and feeling like, oh, that's not really for me yet, but like that would be really cool to do someday. So it was kind of the seed was planted, I think, like right away. And then, as I got more and more familiar with your work and, participating in these different containers, um, yeah, it was on my radar right away. And I definitely like looked into it right away when it opened up this past year. But I also had a lot of hesitation. And for me, like the timing of it is like coming right out of 12th house season. And like this time of year for me is just oh, like especially with Saturn in my first lately and like I don't know, this time of year is always kind of like a difficult one, like with being in my cave and then also just as like a parent, like coming off of the holidays, the start of the year is always like I always feel ready to get back to like work and all of these serious things after like having my kids home for like, almost a month or something at that point. And it never really is that where I can just jump back in. There's always like kids are sick or like there's just all of these things that kind of add up to like feeling very like frustrated or like trapped in like that 12th house season. Um, so I kind of was in that funk, I would say, when like the application opened and was like, how can I make this work? Like, I don't even have time to do like the other things I'm trying to do. Why would I like add this thing? Um, but it kept like, it just stayed with me in the back of my mind of like this thing that I really wanted to do. And then I think you had sent an email just saying like, hey, I thought maybe you would be somebody who would join this year. What's the deal? There wasn't maybe phrased quite like that, but that was the gist. And so I was like, oh, she's right. Like I was one of the people that was probably supposed to join. And I did some like tarot pulls about it, and I had pulled like I think the thing that like finally made me decide like you're doing this is I pulled the Chariot card, which I learned about in your Moon to Moon course as being like this, sense of to me like this sense of agency and that like I need to do something about how I'm feeling. And it was just like a resounding yes that I like couldn't really make sense of both like in the investment piece and also like the time and logistics, but like I just knew I had to figure it out and I'm very grateful that I did. So
Thank you.
So I am here to represent anybody who is new, who feels new, just in general, new to Britten's work, new to any of it, because I looked it up before today. Um, December. So it was December right before that February then last year, when everything opened, that I signed up for, that I even heard about Britain. A mentor mentioned you, and I thought, and astrology specifically, and I thought, okay, well, this mentor is where I'm sitting with a lot of like decolonizing work, and I really look up to this person. And if this person is saying, Britain's what's up in this realm, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to sign up for her email list. um I did the New Year, the resolution. You can help me out with that one.
Then it was called Seeding the Year. This year
There
I
we
did it
go.
as revolutions, not resolutions. Yeah.
That's it. Yes, perfect. Yes. And so I did that. So I got another like I got a taste of like Britain's magic and what you bring. Um, but I should say, um, so, these emails, dang it, Britain, come on, girl, they are everything. And I found myself like so engrossed, um, in them and relating to, so, I mean, I basically signed up right when like promo started for Magician's Table. Um, but I had this why am I being called to this? Why do I feel like I want to lean forward kind of moment? And as I read on your site, there was a word that kind of stood out to me, which was reader. Is for emerging readers. And I'm like, okay, well, the thing is that I don't consider myself a reader. I still don't today. But my journey was that, so I've been a therapist, I've been doing clinical work for, about a decade. About 5 years ago, I started my own private practice, and I knew at that time I really wanted to hold a different type of space. And I am a certified spiritual coach. I have done other coaching programs. I have looked down various paths when it comes to the type of maybe medicine I want to be like more trained in. I've had all different types of readings. And while that was all I felt led, I felt called to become Reiki attuned, all of these things. I know those were for a reason. I thought I'd walk further down that path. I thought that that would be the sort of medicine that maybe I would be able to offer. And that just wasn't the case. And so, but I knew I was an emerging something, right? Like I know I've got all of this in me, and but reader really was the thing where I was like, maybe I just really don't have, not that I'm not the right person or whatever, but I'm just really not in the right place for this container. And The day came and went when the applications, closed, and I was busy and I didn't get it done. And I thought, well, then that's just how it goes. This is not for me right now. And then it was a year of, I was so glad I listened to, if anyone listening has not listened to Tegan's episode with you recently, just talking about the container overall, it's a really good foundational one. But you continue to open it up. You continue to say, hey, everybody, come on now. Like, I know there's more of you out there. And I remember gasping when I got like the next email and I was like, oh God, wait, what? It's still open? You got to be kidding me. Okay, let me think about this. My birthday was during promo, and I was like, maybe I'm gonna apply it on my birthday. That came and went. Um, and finally, again, I just kind of came back to, no, this is the thing that's hanging me up is, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to say, I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them exactly where I'm at. I'm gonna tell them I might be able to name all 12 signs, but like it'll take me a second, okay? I just in December again of that year, like got my first tarot deck. Like I am new to that piece of it, but I'm not new to my magic. I'm not new to my spirituality. I'm not new to my intuition. That is ancient. And so if this is a place where I can come and really see how to truly alchemize these various pieces within me, then here I am. And I'm like, well, it's up to them to accept me or not. And it was just like, yep, boom, you're in. I was like I'm doing this.
Sorry, not sorry.
Amazing. It's so fun to hear all these stories, um, which are brand new for me too. Um, so I think my lead in to Magician's Table was a little bit more on the simplistic or more simplistic side, in that, the 13th reader, Tegan, is like really one of my dearest, closest friends, and I started working with her. She read my birth chart. She was the first person ever that read my birth chart, a handful of years ago. And just ever since then, like she has brought ma magic out of me, and I would like to think that I've helped bring magic out of her. And so when I found that she was doing an online community for like-minded women that are all trying to explore like the emerging magic that is, within us, and how I really loved the aspect that it's like, okay, you don't know what to call yourself yet. Who cares? Like just come and experiment with it. Like that's a really rare thing to find, I think, online. Like there's a lot of like being sold these different programs, and it's like you will walk away with this certification or this or that, but I like that this was pitched as more of a playground. Um I think my inner child really resonated with that. And so all those elements combined made it really easy for me want to participate. I think the only resistance was the price piece. And I was just very grateful that I'm sure Britain might even say this now, like just reach out if you need some financial help or some financial support or something to figure out. And so once I was able to do that, get the courage up to do that and have a little conversation, like it worked out pretty easily. And then it was just, smooth sailing after that. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I want to hear what it was like in the container for you. And maybe not. It will come through our topic today. We'll just see what happens, which is the tower can also be soft, or the softness of the tower. Still, we're playing with titles so far. I want to tell you where this came from because it's like kind of paradoxical to put the word soft with tower. But you're here. So I also am curious what that brought up for you. So when I pulled cards for our alum conversations a few weeks ago, I had just been re-listening to my prophecy reading from Supersensory Shahir, one of the other 13th readers from last year, and it coming back again this year, where the tower was my January card. And I wrote down their words, which in their syntax, like you can hear their voice. Like I love the way this comes together, like poetry, it's actually such a soft thing when we begin our hearts to open to a new foundation.
Mm.
I'll say it one more time so we can all appreciate it. It's actually such a soft thing when we begin our hearts to open up to a new foundation.
Mm.
Yeah, that really yeah, I felt so weepy when it was phrased that way to really actually allow it to be soft. In case I was bracing for it to be not soft. And it's an interesting exploration to think about a card that we associate with sort of like jagged edges, and like abrupt, difficult, hard falls with something soft, and our hearts being part of that. So I'm curious if that resonates for you generally, but also if it resonates for you in terms of what you may have experienced inside the magician's table, because in some ways you could say that it is a tower experience. Was it like that for you?
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate description of like what happens in there. It's just like kind of it's very like disarming in a way of like, oh, okay, like we're just like bearing our souls to each other like like in this space and um with these strangers at first, not for very long, but yeah, I think it was very soft in that way.
Yeah, when I saw the topic of a soft tower, oh man, that brought up a lot. But I will say this. I The tower is always, because I know things now about tarot. It does seem that is one of the ones that comes up as something happening to you, right?
Mhm.
Like it is just out of nowhere. It is this thing that just happens and you have to deal with. And the words like conscious and willing participant came up for me around soft tower of the softness is me choosing. The softness is that, yeah, so I'm at the top of a roller coaster and I don't have to go down. I don't have to feel that pit in my stomach and that like terrified, oh my gosh, what am I doing feeling. I can choose to stand right here. And actually, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but when you make that choice, during that free fall, you're kind of like, well, at least I know what's happening and I can get what I need in these moments. And that's really like, oh gosh, that's what the past 3 years have felt like for me. But that is also sort of how different seasons maybe in the magician's table, different moments in the magician's table also felt.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So, reflecting on this, I feel like I resonate as someone that's been through a lot of tower moments, like a collapsing of my health and a rebuilding of my health. Big moves, big relationship changes, all these different things. And the texture of those towers, maybe not the softest. But when I think about the magician's table, it's like there was nothing softer, honestly. Like I showed up to calls. Like it's funny I'm in my bedroom for this call because I was in my bedroom for every magician's table call. I was oftentimes in my pajamas for all of them, sometimes fresh out of the shower. I think these ladies saw me just like wet hair half the time. Um and but I still got to like explore the truth of my power and my gifts. And I wasn't looked at as less than just because I was going on these calls messy or whatever, you know? I think there was a level of unspoken respect that, oh my gosh, we're all going to show up to each other with this vulnerability. We're zooming in from all different parts of the world and all these different challenging personal circumstances that we may or may not really have a full understanding of. Like it just kind of immediately meant that there was just this unspoken depth and respect, mutual respect that was like built in to the cohort, I think. And let's just name that it was all feminine, women identified humans. And there's a power to that. There really is a power to that. And it makes me want to cry. It's so important. It's so important that we have like that soft um, container of being seen and seeing others, um, especially while we're going through such big transformations. Like it felt like, ancestral grandma spirit was just like holding us the entire time. So if I was to look at Magician's Table as a tower, yes, it was extremely soft. It was like a plushy tower. Like extremely fuzzy, extremely warm, and I would do it over and over again because it was just so fun.
Thank you. Yeah, there was one time that a magician, and maybe it's happened many times and I just don't know, like called in from the bathtub. Just like, what? Yeah. I love that you felt that you could do that. I don't I've said before that there were a lot that was so much that was so hard about COVID, but I do feel like one of the things that that period gave us was this kind of release of hypervigilance around certain professionalisms when you're on camera, working at home that were just like creating so much stress and did not need to be part of people's lives. And this space came in 2021, right after all of that. Um, Wonderful. So, what I really am curious to know is like what offering, like what reading, right? As you grappled with like, am I a reader? What's the offering? What am I gonna be bringing to my colleagues? I'm curious what kind of turns and shifts you experienced with what you want to give or what you want to share with others in terms of your offering. And I'm curious how it's still evolving since the Magician's Table.
So for me, as an astrologer, I felt like coming into it, I felt a little bit frustrated, like with the format of like a reading, where it's very like, this is the chart, this is what it means. And so I think I wasn't sure how, but I just wanted to kind of like change that up a little bit. Um, and I think as I went and had the opportunity to like get the feedback and um, get the extra practice in, I really found that I was more interested in and like actually like channeling. And I've heard other people say this too about it, where it's like I come up with things that sure I can like find the proof in the chart, but like it's almost like I'm doing the opposite where I'm getting the message and then like finding where I see it there. Um, so that was kind of key for me and like moving into a different kind of style of reading. And so like what I came up with was this I think it's had a couple names. Now I'm calling it a Fire Within readings. And it's kind of just looking at the chart in a different way, looking at what's going on like below the horizon line in the chart and kind of incorporate a lot of like storytelling in that reading about like what's happening beneath the surface. And it did morph into like a class that I taught about the fire within and looking at a lot of different things, mainly around like the fire signs last spring. So that's kind of like been composting, and I'm thinking about how I can bring that back this year. I was very much like channeling the Neptune and Aries and like Saturn going into Aries, and yeah, so stay tuned for more
Yeah,
on that.
thank you.
So in recent years, I've been incorporating intuition development in all of my therapy sessions. And so today, in this moment, when I say intuition, I mean self-trust, discernment. What do the nudges feel like? How do we know what we know? So much so that in my consultations, I now say, I believe we have a soul and we have a spirit, and that we have really lost the places to tend to that. And so in this space, this is something that I do with everybody is this intuition development work to make sure that that is something that they are looking for. And my website, I mean, it hints at these things, so it's not a huge surprise. But as a therapist, you know, we won't be getting into all of it, but a lot of us are taught to leave out this incredibly essential piece of our beings. And so I've been incorporating that work back into therapy. And the thing I've been sitting with is like, I can help people faster. And not faster as in a sense of, colonized urgency, but faster as in if I didn't have these other parameters, even though I work for myself, even though I don't take insurance, there's still some more parameters around being a therapist. And so I wrote in my journal November, right? So, and I found Britain in December, right? And we've seen how like quick all of this happened. Like I'm ready to truly do that. Coaching in the way that I was taught wasn't going to be quite it. All these other like areas that I've done and I've held that kind of space for people just wasn't going to be quite it for me. And so my reading, what I asked is I emailed everybody beforehand. Something around sort of how to prep for our session, which is really just to kind of like deepen in. And I wanted to know what pressing question about their life, about any of it that they had. And we went from there, and that's still what I do. They're breakthrough sessions, almost double the amount of time. So I did 45 minutes. Britton will tell you about the time frames and things, but that was the thing that we agreed on that was okay with people. We did that. So now I offer 75-minute breakthrough sessions, and so there is some reflection questions that really help funnel, right? So you can like bring all the puzzle pieces of like, this is where I'm at and this is what's going on. And these are the deeper soul level questions that I have, but this is my real world decisions that need to be made. So people can really like funnel what they bring. And so it's really, they feel prepared. We kind of have a focus for our time and we incorporate a number of different things that goes wherever it would like to go. Um, and it's still magical to me that people will walk away with what they need in that time. And so the kind of evolution of that is there's a little bit of a follow-up now that I offer a week later, just to like, let's just check in, let's see how these things are settling with you. But I really love this access that I want to be able to give people to just to sit with somebody. So you don't have to go, um, get on a wait list and then, all of these other things. And let's be really clear, of course, that's not therapy that I'm offering like in this other container. But it is a space that we've lost. Like, let me just go sit with somebody, a wise person, and tell them what's going on and see what they have and see what comes through. Right? We need that. Like, how silly is this that we've like completely lost that kind of a space? So I'm overjoyed to be able to offer that and to have these humans who really help me shape it.
Mm. Thank you.
Beautiful. So just to revisit the question, we're commenting on what our readings looked like during the program and then what it kind of looks like now, right?
Yeah, like what's been the kind of evolution of turns
Mm,
and shifts that have from the first kind of week where you're like,
mm,
I think I'm going to do this,
hmm
and then
hmm
it just becomes something else usually.
Absolutely, absolutely. So at the start of my experience with the Magician's Table, I was coming out of an ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation program that I did maybe at the end of the year or early that year. Um, and that was a beautiful program. You know, it got me really solid on what a coaching call should look like and how to maintain an ethical coaching call, but kind of similar to what Danielle was commenting on. Yeah, a bit rigid and structured and a bit sterile in like what they were kind of having us in the types of calls they wanted us to lead. Um, and I have always identified as a spiritual person, but I don't think that's something that, at least in my current like way I'm in the world, that people like understand right off the bat. And so I was sitting with this question of like, okay, I want to be a coach of some sort. I am a spiritual person. I don't know how to like integrate that in yet. So let me just try in the magician's table. Let me just see what that is going to look like. And so I think week by week they changed a little bit differently. Okay, now I'm gonna integrate a little tarot at the top or at the end of it. Um, I experimented with really heart-led questions. I think every session I had as well, I did a meditation to really like somatically look at the body before our calls. Where by the end, I was like bringing out a ceremonial drum and, just like having fun with it and just being like, okay, like I think maybe I took 5 or 10 minutes before each call just to feel like, okay, what do I feel like called to to give based on what I know about the individual I'm going to sit across from, but also like what are my guides telling me, what feels just right to do right now. Um, so it was a really nice balance of like experimental and just kind of sticking with the same old week by week, just playing with the steady and the unsteady and being willing to like play with the clay of it and mold it into a new thing each time. And honestly, I think during the Magician's Table, I got like a really great, lively new job. And I am like a year into it now. So I'm feeling a little more steady now, and ready to I'm actually planning on like it's funny that this is Lunar New Year's as of yesterday and that um yeah, I'm looking at by the end of this week putting my offerings back out again into the universe. And I haven't touched on that in like a year. So very serendipitous timing there. But how I would summate it is that I empower people. I empower people. That's my magic. I can sit down with someone in an Uber. I can date them. I can have a half-hour conversation with them, an hour conversation with them. It can look like this, it can look like that, whatever. But I empower people when I sit with people, and I'm a really, really powerful mirror, I think there's a way in which I can, whether it's in person or on a Zoom call, like really reflect back in the most compassionate way, like what I feel like that person is experiencing. And what a surprise, it really resonates with people. That was honestly the biggest medicine that I got out of the Magician's Table was just hearing from so many women how deeply it was resonating. Like I think I didn't walk into Magician's Table feeling like I had an identity complex, but I was like, oh, like I've been told I have gifts, but this is like I asked for a couple testimonials during the process, and uh some of my family members were like, "Is this ChatGPT?" And I'm like, no, this is just like women that had a great experience with me. This is all real. Can you believe it? It's real. Um, and so I'm so grateful that as my magic is like still continuing to evolve and risks are still being taken, um, that Magician's Table gave me like a little bit more of an unflappable confidence with this stuff, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put out tarot readings to the internet this week. And maybe one person will bite at it, maybe 10 people, maybe zero people. But I'm still going to keep at it. I'm still going to try new versions of myself because I know that the magic that's inside of me needs to be out into the world. And so I'm going to stick at it because there's a group of people that really, 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 really believe in me. And I now believe in myself more deeply because of that. So, yeah.
Mm. Oh, goodness, Emily, thank you so much.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, y'all have been each touching on so many powerful things about you and about your experience. Thank you. As like a final question, I'm wondering if there's anything you would want to share to those who are thinking about it, like your younger self, basically. Anyone who's thinking about it, but they're like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I fit. I don't know how I can make it work. I don't know if I'll be able to show up to this. Like, you could think of your own questions and hesitations. And yeah, just what would you want to say to them?
I think for me, a lot of it was like around the logistics, right? And like the money piece. And like Emily said, it was very easy once you like sit down and just figure it out. Like, obviously it's not going to work for everybody's schedule, but I think staying open to the possibility that there is a way that you can make it work, like on all levels, is like part of the magic. And like for me, I think just getting through that initial doorway was like showed me a lot about myself that like I can do these things. Like it wasn't just um like the yeah, once you're in there, like you're building confidence too, but just like that saying yes and like trusting my own intuition and then like seeing that I could make this thing that I didn't think I could do work is like I mean, how, what else could you really want for like, it like, and again, echoing like Emily, it's like, I feel like my confidence has grown a lot just from doing it. Like yeah, I'm not so hesitant to just try things or to like put it out there and to like, share more openly like what I'm thinking about. It's just, I think it's like, yeah, it's given me more of like the balls to like do the thing. So,
Yeah, I want to share a few things. Um, One is that I know that there are so many people I'm listening, and because this is what I see so much of too, and is my own story, um, that are maybe coming from various religious backgrounds, various traditions, and there's that question of like, what might it be like to sit? Are all these other people sort of a part of a similar tradition, and am I maybe not? Are they all trained in a certain way, and I'm not? Something that was so incredible for me. Was to be able to sit with 12 other humans from some go to church, some are going to talk about angels, some are going to talk about um, their like talking to their ancestors, some people are going to, and you just look around and everyone's just smiling and nodding like, yeah, it's all good. It's all gravy. We're all we're all standing in front of a stained glass window and we're just standing at different like places. The truth, the source, the love is on the other side and it shines through and we just see the different colors. Like I knew that, right? Like I know that. But I did grow up pretty conservative. I do have a degree in biblical studies. And so there's a difference between knowing it and even helping other people as they navigate their own spiritual journey. And then it's a whole different story to sit in that week after week. And it is just a deeper understanding and a deeper connection. And I do think I do know our cohort was pretty close. Like it was a really, really special group to be in. And so that brings me to the other thing, which is that we're talking about the soft tower that is the magician's table and is maybe even each reading that a person will do. Um, Consider the magician's table was a place for me to come back and land when a very hard tower moment happened outside of that space. I would have never guessed how much I needed that group, like how much I needed to be able to show up and be honest and just to speak for 6 minutes about something that had happened. And it happened with another group that was that place for me. And it was really difficult. And so, um, yeah, sure. Okay, the space is gonna rock you. All right, like you've done hard things before, people. It's okay. You can come do hard things here and learn, and it just might give you what you really need in this moment in life too.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Um, so as I'm sitting into February 2026, a lot of what I'm seeing out in our crazy world is that a lot of us are really scared to open up our throat chakras. And I'm lucky that I haven't dealt with that problem as much as most. But what I want to say to all the angels out there that do is that your fear is so valid. Like, your fear is so valid. It is really scary to learn how to use your voice and to learn how to speak up. It is really scary to reach out and ask for financial support. It is really scary to experiment with different types of teachings and modalities and to believe that you might be good at being a conduit of these teachings and modalities. It is scary. But there's no safer place to experiment with this fear than this container. It's such a beautiful, safe, soft container. And there will be people on your calls that as soon as you look at their room, I remember there was a woman named Wendy that was supposed to speak on this call today, but I'm filling in for her place. Oh my gosh, just imagining what her room looks like, her house looks like, and the type of person she is. Ah, like that's I'm so now so much more possibilities will immediately open up for you if you agree to be a part of this. You will find self-love within yourself that you didn't know that was possible if you're a part of this. You'll find more love for others that you didn't know you could find just by being a part of this. And I think that's all we need more. That's the medicine we really need in this universe is just more love within and without. So if you're finding that you're feeling the call, jump in. Jump in and yeah, I'm rooting for you. I don't know you, but I'm rooting for you.
Mm, that was so sincerely spoken. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, so much for trusting in the space, taking the leap, loving on each other. Tegan always spoke so beautifully of your cohort week after week, just in astonishment of your big hearts for one another. It's very moving for her too to experience you. Thank you for giving your time to come on today to share about your experience and to help those listening come to their knowing, whatever that may be. I'm so grateful to be reconnected to you today. And listeners, you'll be able to find ways to connect with Janessa, Danielle, and Emily in the show notes. I hope you'll reach out. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Janessa. And thank you, Emily, for taking the time to come and share about your experience in the Magician's Table last year. The tower can also be soft. Listeners, if you connected with their voices today, I hope you'll connect with them elsewhere. All of their links are in the show notes. And also, you know what I'm going to say. If you are seriously considering joining the Magician's Table to be in the class of 2026, I'm encouraging you to claim your seat. You begin by joining the waitlist. Once you're on the wait list, you'll get an email. And now that the application window is open, that email that you get will have the link for you to just hop on into the application window and you'll see all the questions. You can take your time. You can work on answering the questions in a Word doc or somewhere else or in your journal. You don't have to write a really long response to things. It's really about sharing some of your voice so that we can feel you. By we, I mean me, so I can feel you. And so that I can sense that you understand what the Magician's Table is, what it's about, and what is required of you. Because it is a Saturnian place, because it has required required attendance, and you should count on about 3 hours a week per week all spring in order to show up to this. For many people, it's more hours because there's time in like group discussions, there's doing the curriculum that I provide, there's going to the bonus meetups, but everything beyond the 90-minute cohort meetup and exchanging readings with your partner, everything beyond that is completely optional. The exchange and the 90-minute cohort meetup are not optional. Now, almost everyone will have one that they already know they can't make, or someone will get sick during it. Like, these things are okay. It's really about just understanding that your presence is important here. Your voice is important. And so, I mean, that is so much of what you're coming to integrate into you, is how important your voice is and how important your presence is. Like, that's what the medicine is about. And so I want to see in the application that you understand this and that you are ready to make that kind of commitment to yourself and to your cohort. Otherwise, if you're somebody who finds like applications and questions overwhelming, please know I don't expect you to write a whole bunch of stuff. Just write enough so that I get a sense for you and I can see you where you are right now. All right. So then once you've been through that initiation, which is the initiation into naming your desires, then within, depending on like what price tier you're going for, you'll probably hear from me anywhere from within 24 hours to definitely by March 4th, which is the last day that the applications are open, unless you submit on March 4th, and then you'll hear March 5th or 6th. And then the expectation is that within 3 days of hearing from us, you move through the portal to initiate your investment, your investiture. And now you're in. Then you're in. And we see you at the initiation weekend in the middle of March, which, if you can't make it, that's not a reason not to join. You'll get the replays. But it's just very magical to begin with a proper initiation. And so if you can't come, you can give yourself that. And then we begin the first week. The week right around the equinox, the spring equinox, is when we begin, because we want to be done before Cancer season, so before the summer solstice. Every year, this is how we do it. Okay, I believe that's all for now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Celebrating you. Looking forward to seeing you on the other side.